Hi all. Today I'm talking a little bit about conspiracy again, as well as a kind of a vision that I had just after lockdown. So firstly, let's talk about the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization. So I think most of us were not really aware of the World Health Organization until lockdown hit. And then all of a sudden we realized that international law trumps national law, as we had global lockdowns, and you could hear that all the news stations were saying the same thing globally. So all of a sudden the World Economic Forum, under the hypernorm of health and safety, told us what to do with our lives, and this was top-down control. Also, so this is the World Health Organization, sorry. The World Economic Forum, for those of you who don't know, you can go Google it. They're also part of the top-down controllers. Remember we spoke about the archons, the controllers of the inverted 3D matrix. Now, obviously, they are not archons themselves. They're just human-ish representatives on Earth, right? And they also represent top-down control as well as greed. So the World Economic Forum is pushing for Agenda 2030. This is not conspiracy. You can go to their website and then you can go look at Agenda 2030. And this aims to eradicate global warming with top-down control. So they are talking about things like 15-minute cities, top-down surveillance, right? Going cashless, and all in the name of wonderful hypernorm health and safety, because it's for your own good. So the thing about global warming is it's really been pushed for many years because it can lead to carbon tax, right? So that means that people need to pay money for the amount of carbon that they consume. And this is ridiculous, really, because I agree that we need to look after the planet better, but why are we not looking at microplastics? Why are we not looking at animal abuse? Why is it always CO2, 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 right? So that's the first thing. Second thing would be one of their slogans, this is now the World Economic Forum, is you will own nothing and you will be happy. Guys, you can go Google all of this, right? Then I want to remind you of the social credit system in China again, and this is what will happen if we go cashless. So people, please use cash. Remember that Bitcoin, or what do you call it, these blockchain currencies, right? They are programmable currencies, which means that they are like food stamps, which means that they can be controlled. So in other words, you can buy sugar, but now you can't buy sugar anymore because you've bought sugar too much in this month, and then you can lose carbon credits. This is now obviously in the dystopian future under Agenda 2030 that the World Economic Forum wants to push down on us. Now, I know that this sounds very pie in the sky, but all of this you can go Google, people. We already have 15-minute cities. We've already got the International Pandemic Preparedness Act. We already have Agenda 2030. We already have the social credit system in China, and we already have people pushing for a cashless society. And then also the fourth industrial revolution with AI and top-down control. Now, all of these things are not necessarily bad. AI is not necessarily bad, but the fourth industrial revolution is being punted as a solution to global warming. What did I say in the previous video? Problem, reaction, solution. So the problem is global warming. Then we've got the reaction, and then we have the solution, which is carbon tax and green passports and going cashless, etc., etc. These planes flying here, I don't know, it's like they're flying all around. I hope the sound doesn't bother you too much. So some people, to some of you, I'm preaching to the choir, exactly what's going on, and this is obvious to you. To other people, even though this is not even being hidden away, they can't see it, right? Like when Maui burnt down, and when we had like all the fires we've had recently, many people know that this was, you know, actually orchestrated in order to bring 15-minute cities into the fold. Other people have no idea. So when lockdown started and I could see so clearly, right, I could see so clearly what was going on, and I could see the top-down control, and I could see the puppet masters behind the curtain, you know, I kind of almost became arrogant and started looking down at the people that couldn't see these things. And then I had a beautiful like vision. So I was in a roller coaster. Life was a roller coaster, and I had bought tickets for this roller coaster, and it was the Ascension roller coaster. And then I asked, can I sit in front? Can I please sit in front? And everyone said, you can sit in front, but that's, you know, the best place to sit. And do us a favor, when you look back and you look at us sitting behind you, please don't judge us, because we allowed you to have those tickets, right? Because we love you, and you wanted to be one of the first to see it. And on the other side of the veil, we're all equal, right? We're all one, so don't make the mistake. So that was a beautiful kind of vision that made me realize why some people cannot yet see what's going on in the world. Remember, we're not the archons, as I said in a previous video, they're already leaving the planet, right? They're realizing that ascension and the sun that's picking up and all of these beautiful alignments are leading to such a massive jump in our evolution, that the future is bright, right? So they're just playing for time, and that's why the mosaic warfare is becoming so crazy. You know, I think it's Aldous Huxley that said the answers would be out there, but there would be so much information that people would not be able to discern the truth, right? So why I'm making you aware of this, so that you can make the right choices, okay? So that you can make the right choices. Use cash, people. Use cash. For those of you who've been to China, you know what I mean with regards to the social credit system. Also, Agenda 2030 is not a good thing, right? Also, don't fall for the global warming agenda. It's once again, you know, Albert Maisel said that tyranny is the deliberate removal of nuance. So in other words, either you're for global warming or you're against global warming, or you're, you know, this or you're that. I am for the planet, and I want us to look after the planet, but I'm not for carbon tax, right? And I don't think that global warming is the big issue. I think we've got other issues on this planet that we have to focus at, with whatever that would be. Yes, because if you look at CO2 emissions, very far in the past, we had way more CO2, and it was actually good for the plants, right? It was actually good for the plants. So the message of this is to just be aware when you look at the news, to look at the people behind that. So Klaus Schwab is also part of the World Economic Forum, and during lockdown in Canada, we had a bunch of truckers who stood up against the vaccine mandates, right? By driving with their trucks. Firstly, this was not in the news. And then secondly, Justin Trudeau, who was part of the Bright Leaders of Tomorrow, I think that's what they called it, that was run by Klaus Schwab, you know. So he's obviously affiliated with the World Economic Forum. He froze the accounts of all the truckers that was part of this peaceful march, right? And if that isn't top-down control, totalitarian control, then I don't know what is, right? And none of this was in the news. So use cash, people, and yeah, stay awake, stay alive, stay loving, stay radical, personal responsibility-esque, and yeah, have a lovely day. That's my 2 bits for today.